play called Metamorphoses, and it is a play that was originated by a woman named Mary Zimmerman, and it's based on Ovid's Book of Mythology. Most of it. There's a couple of other stories in there as well, but it's a play about mythology and love and loss, and of course, because of the title, we have to include a lot of physical transformation in it. Obviously, the stories themselves are ancient. They're 2,000 years old. But of course, they've been filtered through a modern sensibility. So although the original intent and feeling is there, there's a lot of modern jokes, there's a lot of modern takes on things like that. So it's interesting to bring those stories 2,000 years into the present.
I think one of the really beautiful and unique aspects of our production is actually Kokora Franklin's choreography. She has come in and given us a lot of almost dance-like movements that really contribute to tell the story in a more glaringly visual way. So much of this play has a lot of really beautiful language to it, but Kokora has brought in the physical aspect of it and really helped us to tell the story with our bodies, which I think is really, really beautiful.
There's a lot of narration in the play where an actor will talk about the story, will tell the story on stage. And so it doesn't make sense for us to then physically tell the same story as the words are telling. So because the words are expressed so clearly and the story is told so plainly, that gives us free rein to do a whole lot of other things physically, so that we can sometimes counterpoint the story, we can sometimes, I wouldn't say illustrate it, but we can sort of go through what the action is actually saying, but most of the time the action and the words are not the same thing. It sort of brings a lot of depth and meaning through the imagery that is missing just in the words, and vice versa. So it's very much about bodies and space, so the actors become all sorts of different things. It's a really physical production, and of course it's in a pool of water, so all that physical movement in the water is going to be pretty exciting. The water is it's a metaphor, right? So if the play is about metamorphoses and being able to change, what's more changeable than water, right? So everything in the play happens in and around this water. So it becomes all sorts of different things in the story as well.
This process has actually been really exciting because we had to redesign the show multiple times because we didn't consider like, all right, let's just put the show on stage. In the script, it requires water. Because of that metamorphosis, water is constantly changing and so are the characters. And so with putting water here, it was A, a requirement, but B, is it the show itself or is it an accent to the show? And so in the beginning phases of it, it was, we had like 2 feet of water, but then we had to deal with all of the math and science and engineering that went into that. And so it got pared down from 2 feet to 4 inches. So that's where we're at now to deal with the pressure on the floor. We've got a dance studio below us, so we had to make sure that nothing broke down into that. And we also worked outside of the theater part of the university. We worked with engineering and other parts of OPP, which we haven't really involved ourselves with before. So it was really exciting to be a full university collaboration.
It's going to be really unique because it's all about like the director's interpretation and how we take it, and then also the space that you do it in. And I think that's something that makes ours particularly cool is that it's in that 3/4 thrust, and so we have people on all sides, and just like the space that we have in this theater is just beautiful, and like the lights and everything, and then we also have the stairs, and so you can kind of enter in from the audience, and it allows for like just a very interesting play on like a presentation of a thing. And so they have these big red curtains because it's like no pun intended, but like it's meta, and so there's an element of like knowing that we're doing a performance, and it is a performance, and it is kind of sacred in that way.
This space in particular, it's got some very challenging sightline issues, and for a show that is so theatrical and so presentational, it's hard to create that little proscenium edge to everything, while also engaging the whole body of the space, and then also behaving with like ADA compliance to making sure that everyone in the audience remains safe and able to navigate the show, especially in the case of like exits. But with this show in particular, again, because it's about all of that transformation and love and change, that being the centerpiece, that you're always engaged with it. There's not a moment in the show where you can click out and stop paying attention to it like you can in a proscenium, because it's always in your face, which I think is very exciting.
I think it just creates a more intimate type of theatrical viewing experience. It's definitely more reminiscent of traditional Greek theater, which would have been done in the round, but it really does personalize the show and allows us as actors to pinpoint individuals in the audience and speak directly to them when we're giving our narration, and makes it a more immersive experience as well.
Yes, the show, it didn't change as much as I was expecting, but it definitely, we had to make some adjustments and some changes because of the water, and also the platforms as well, since we were working just on a flat floor, and so like having those raised platforms were definitely an adjustment, but we made it work. It's challenging sometimes. When we're starting out, it was a little cold, and we were all like, "Oh, the pool's cold." But it's like through like the hard work of our wonderful production team and everyone. I think I've gotten to a point where we're feeling really comfortable in the pool, and everyone is just taking such good care of us. But it truly is. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It's been exciting collaborating with both lights and costumes with this show too, because they've also been confronting how do you transform the characters in their own interpretations of love. How do you use the color pink or red to show different kinds of passion or romantic love? But it's been things like that we didn't really foresee. Or the water temperature. It changes quite a bit in this building, so we've had to get in touch with other parts of the university to like change the temperature of the building and with the water. So it's just been a lot of unforeseen circumstances, but it has been really fun to actually get it to the point that it is, because when it works really well.